Hello, it is time for Chapter 7 of A Dog's Purpose. Remember, the other chapters are in this reading playlist, and the comprehension questions for this chapter are in the video description down below. So you can click on those. All right, Chapter 7. One day we took a long car ride, and when we were done, we were at a place called the farm. The farm had so many fun animals and smells. Bailey liked the farm. Two older people that Ethan called Grandma and Grandpa came out of the big white house on the farm. There was a big horse on the farm named Flair that would just look at me when I barked at her. There was a big pond that Ethan and I could swim at. A family of ducks lived at the pond, and I loved to chase them. Grandpa would scratch my ears, and Grandma would feed me little treats. At the farm, I liked to explore the woods or play in the pond. I usually stayed at the house because Grandma was always cooking good food and needed me to taste the food to make sure it was good. It always was. Bailey liked the farm. Ethan liked to take me on a small boat in the pond and drop a worm in the water and pull out a small fish for me to bark at. There was also a cat on the farm, but she was afraid of me. One day, I thought I saw a black cat in the woods and ran after it. When I got up to her, I saw that she was different from a cat. She had white stripes down her black body. I barked at her, and she held her furry black tail up in the air. She didn't run away, so I thought she wanted to play. Oh, I wonder what kind of animal this is. What do you think? When I jumped toward her to play, she turned her tail up. She turned away with her tail up. Then I smelled a really bad smell that hurt my eyes and my lips. I ran home. Bailey got into a skunk, Grandpa yelled when I got home. You're not coming into this house, Bailey, Mom said. Ethan and Grandma took me into the yard and got me wet and squeezed tomatoes all over me. Then they washed me with soap. I didn't like the way I smelled, so the next morning I ran down to the pond and rolled in a dead fish. I went back to the woods so I could find this skunk animal again. I could find her easily since I knew her smell now. I started sniffing her and she sprayed me with the bad smell again. Oh, Bailey. I went back home and they washed me with potatoes and soap again. You're so stupid, Bailey, Ethan told me. Grandma said, don't use that word stupid. It's a bad word. Tell him he's a doodle. That's what my mom called me when I was a little girl and I did something wrong. Ethan looked at me and said, Bailey, you are a doodle dog. You're a doodle dog. Then he and Grandma laughed. One day at the end of the summer, Ethan took me fishing at the pond and he yelled, Bailey, I caught a big fish. As he was trying to catch it with his fishing pole, the boat rocked and Ethan fell in the water. I jumped in after him and swam under the water to find him. When I saw him, I bit on his sweatshirt and swam up to the top of the water with him. Whoa. When we got into the boat, he said, Bailey, are you trying to save me, boy? Ethan said, I dropped my fishing pole in the water and I have to go get it. You stay here. I'm okay. Then he jumped back into the water. I jumped in after him again and bit his sweatshirt to pull him out of the water again. Bailey, you're such a good dog. You really tried to save me, Ethan said. The next day, Ethan brought Grandpa to the pond and said, watch, Bailey will go underwater and save me. Ethan jumped in the water, and I jumped in after him again and pulled him out of the water. Good boy, Ethan and Grandpa told me. I was so excited that I ran after the ducks. We spent the rest of the day playing Rescue Me, where Ethan would jump in the water and I would pull him out. A few days later, we had to leave the farm to go back home. I was sad to leave the farm. Bailey liked the farm. Wow, what a fun chapter. A lot of excitement. All right, I hope you'll do the comprehension questions and check back in later this week to hear our next chapter.